Hey, the Daily Purge. Hope you're doing fantastic today. Going on a hump day, Wednesday, ready to roll into the end of the week. Man, what a week it's been so far, huh? What are you guys doing? You guys having a good one? Have you been doing what you want to be doing this week, or has it been one of those weeks where you're like, man, I don't know, having a tough one? There's a lot of people having tough times right now. I think we can all agree it's been a tough few years, but it depends how you look at it. Some people are like, well, it didn't really change much for me, and other people are like, man, it's been rough. And the question is, you got to ask yourself is, how often do you run into situations where you glaze over it or brush over it, push it away, charge through it, don't acknowledge it, and just sort of keep driving? Because that's what we're taught, right? We're taught to do that. And when you do that, then people, you sometimes get hit in the rear again, out of the blue, right? And there's a lot of ways that people talk about dealing with that stuff. Well, you got to push through it. You got to hurry through it. You got to make it happen. You got to crush it. Hey, how you doing, Meta? Hi, Olga. How you doing? And there's something that I always face is like life can be harsh. Reality can be harsh. It really can. And if you shut your eyes to it, it's to your own peril. And if you try to, sort of like go around it and push it and whatever, and maybe ignore it and stuff like that, it'll be to your own peril if you don't face up to the enemy and all the darkness that people talk about all the time. And that's because one day, if you don't deal with it, one day it's going to come up again. It's going to come behind you. And what does this even mean, Stephen? Right? Hey, Jillian Zandoval, my goodness, how you doing? Greetings, Mexico. Hope you're doing all fantastic. Great hearing from you. So what does that mean when I say you got to face up to the darkness? You got to face up to the peril, right, in life? It means that if you don't deal with it now, it will come back and bite you in the ass, period, right? And that's a promise. It's going to happen. Sooner or later, it will happen. And in order to get through that, you have to embrace it. Now, that doesn't mean hang on to it. Like I think I've told you guys about the Aikido method that I use. Like if someone comes at me with bad energy or something bad happens, I will embrace it for a few seconds, and then I'll measure its energy, and then I'll let it go in that one direction where the energy is the most, so that it sort of takes care of itself, falls on itself. It's like opening a door for someone, and as they're charging in, it just falls in, right? It's the same kind of thing, but you got to face it. You got to deal with it. Ignoring it is different than acknowledging it and letting it go. If you ignore it and you avoid it, it will come back, whatever it is. And, that can be an issue that repeats itself over and over and over. I had a client today, and sometimes it's right in front of you. And so there was a project that was in the company, and this project is like a thorn in the side. And it was always an issue, and it wasn't working out, and this, that, and the other. And the employee was telling the boss, and the boss was telling him, but it wasn't working out. And I was sitting there, and I panned out, and I thought, why is it so difficult? And then I realized no one wants to deal with it. Nobody. So why don't you just get rid of the project, right? Face it. Face the issue. The issue isn't that no one, people arguing about who does what. The issue was no one wanted to do it. And so he was like, my God, I feel like 100 pounds lighter since we made this decision. It was like that, because you face it head on. Too often we're taught to avoid problems. Too often we're taught to go around them and, we can solve it later or whatever. Just drive on, make it happen, drive on, make it happen. We're taught that in the Army too, of course, in the military. But if you do not face up to the enemy and all his dark power, then the enemy will come up from behind some dark day and destroy you while you are facing the other way. Out of one of my favorite books. I had to quote that on one of my favorite books, Wild at Heart, for men. Yeah, pretty good stuff. And hey, I compare the harshness, darkness in life with the good in my life. A lot helps put into perspective. Yes, indeed. Look at what you have, not what you don't have. Look at what you want and what you do, not what you don't want. People say all the time. I was talking to a guy today. He's like, "Yeah, I want to make sure I put in my contract that I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do this, I don't do that." And I said, "Well, what do you do? Doesn't it make more sense and be more motivating to say this is what I do instead of this is what I don't do?" Same thing goes for you. As this is what I want, not I don't want this. Excess potential, right? That's either excess importance or excess desire. And that means, oh man, this has to happen. I really, really want this. When you do that, what is nature? What's the universe? The universe is perfect balance, right? Otherwise, nothing will work out. So when you as a human push in one direction, I want, I need, I must, it must be, I have to have it. When you do that, you're putting excess potential out there. So your universe has to even it out. So what do? They pump up the negative. You're going like, I want, and they're saying, no, you can't have, because they're trying to even it out. The universe is trying to even itself out, balance itself out. So the more you want something, the more you focus on something, the less of a chance you're going to have of getting it. That's why you got to set the vision, set the picture, paint it, and let it go, and be certain of your ability to navigate through any given situation in order to reach your goals. That's what it's all about. That's why certainty is so important, because then you can forget about the how. The how is you trying to engineer something that you don't know how to do yet. So it's crazy, but it works. All right. So face the darkness, go in there, turn the lights. Sometimes fear, it's like going in the basement. It's dark. Oh my God, it's scary. Oh my God. You're flipping the lights. Like, oh, it's not scary at all. Just flipping that damn light. And you got this. Okay, everybody. Have a fantastic one. And remember, it's all about quality of life. See you tomorrow.